Hey team, how we going? It is Kaz from In the Trenches with Kaz, and it is as dark as Tully on the stream. I'm about to put up the back screen because I don't like being here by myself. What's it going to be? Do we have a bit of a guess in chat what is going to be the back screen for tonight's stream? And while we're thinking about that, thank you very much for the Zampede becoming a new member. Thank you very much for donations that have already been rolling in. Thank you very much to Troy, David Attenborough for discovering any one of new species. Tonight is going to be a little bit of a show, which is the most important thing, the voice of the people, where you get to sit back and the members get to actually throw registered questions into the community section so that they become on the screen tonight. And you're going to see those registered questions as they appear. Video is meant to come out in the last few days. Why didn't it, Kaz? I'm glad you asked. Because one day, my daughter was sick. Now, she's also started now to get her braces. And any number one of things that, including the Hitman Dixon coming over and spending the day here. It's been a hoot. I've enjoyed it. But what's it going to be, Kaz? What's it going to be tonight? Bam. Deadpool's here. You're starting to see a theme. I consider myself a Batman, so I can't put myself behind myself. I'm going to get 10% smarter. Smart ladies, swipe right. On 3, 2, 1. There we go. Sad Sober Cobra. G'day, mate. Braden Graham. The Rats. G'day, mate. There you go. We've got Giuliano Sticker. We've got Josh, who's always here. Joshy Fawns. Over who? We've got Nathan Ireland. What's going on, mate? At Kapooka next week, hey Kaz, at Kapooka, week 11 march out on Friday coming up. Hallway 11, Nathan Ireland, let us know, how many have you lost so far? Imagine some of the stories you could tell us now. From 11 Platoon, the platoon that I joined in 1991. Fantastic. The Greek Ruins, Rhinopolis, Survival Man, still here. We can tell because he's typing 343 all the way. Hey, Kaz and team. We've got Bird Kid there. Can you fly yet? Are you out of the nest? We've got Aaron Kelly, Coke, and Jim Beamley. The Jim Beam out, and you've got a great elixir right there, mate. Boom. What name we got today? No, this is old school classic. No nicknames on the site. I hope that my full head of hair after 50 years old is not making anyone feel bad. G'day, Kaz, and everyone says Michael Stott, the medic. We need to make up a great name for those in blue, our moderators. Okay, those guys behind the scenes that do all the culling of those that get in front of their tongue, so to speak. Tony, Anthony, sorry about my phonetic pronunciation of your name, mate. Can't wait to hear more insight about the infantry. My assessment day is next week. It's up for you to lose, mate. Up for you to lose. Because remember, all they're looking for is something you do wrong. Something you do wrong. Tonight we're talking about infantry. And although this is not the role of the infantry, this is something you need to remember, because the coveted hat badge, the Skippy Badge, is what you're going to be going for. And it cannot be inherited, nor can it ever be purchased. You and no one alive can buy it. Hey, Falcon. And I'm more of a Holden man, but now they're gone. I can dig that. I'm a VW guy now. Not too cow to the member. Can we get some thumbs up to all our newest members tonight? Absolutely fantastic. And we also even had Aussie bloke that came and upgraded himself today before we had a big conversation. We've got the 343 Lambo down there. That's the ECN. Okay, the employment categorisation number for infantry, 343. Also, it's got something to do with Master Chief. Sorry, Nathan. Wait a sec. Straight from Kapooka. Okay, mate.
How you going, mate?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. So you're actually inside the evil's den now.
Right now, mate. Yeah, week 11. Yeah, we're at the Wally Thompson right now. We've just got back from field yesterday.
Yep.
So yeah, doing well.
That's excellent, mate. And 11 platoon. How many have we lost?
25 platoon. We started with 58. We're down to 43.
Okay, so simple mathematics there. That's 15.
Yeah, we've lost 15 injuries, RORs, things like that.
Now, what percentage of people would you say turned up unprepared, and unprepared because they'd never been to this channel?
A hell of a lot, mate. And people had no idea what they were walking into. They hadn't trained fitness and things like that. So we had a hell of a lot of people fail their BFA, but you don't need to pass your BFA now to get through. It's only a basic fitness diagnostic. It's no longer a gateway.
What confuses me about that there, Nate, is the fact that it's not just a gate. What it is actually an OH&S requirement. If you can go out field for 10 days, 20 days, 6 months, every single other person in the military has to have that to be able to go out in the field, to be under arduous conditions. So at least we have a default setting that we're not putting someone into physical danger.
Oh, 100%. 100%. It's, it's honestly, like, one sec, where did my beer go? There it is. You know, if you ask me, it should definitely still be an assessment that you need to pass to get through, because the amount of unfit people that are just fucking managing to get through their PFA at the start, which is nothing.
Yep.
And then, I mean, I'm 27, so mine was, you know, a bit lower than other people, but I still managed to hit the mark of the younger blokes.
Yep.
Because you don't want to be the bloke just getting through in the numbers. So, like, with your 2.4K, I got 11 minutes 48 is what you can get to pass.
Yep. But
you still want to get sub 10 minutes to be, you know, up there with the crew. So 10 and a half minutes, try and get it down to that and get noticed, you know. Like the bloke that got, he's getting the PT award, he was down in 7.5 minutes.
That's pretty quick. You don't want to be able to run that fast. That's telling everyone that you're a runner, that you won't be around there when trouble starts. That tells you that maybe you're a rifle dropping Italian.
Yeah, bloody oath. But no, it's a crazy experience, and you got to love it every day. It's hard yakka. I won't lie. You got to do Segro when you get in. So you got 2 weeks of Segro. It's really hard because you don't get mesh, you don't get anything like that. You get hotboxed every day, but it's honestly an incredible experience. And now that I look back at it, you know, the days go slow, but the weeks go fast. You just got to push through, keep going. As much as things hurt and things like that, don't go to the RAP and get back squatted.
Nope.
Push through. Stay by your mates. You know, people have their breakdowns, mate. I've got 2 kids at home, so that was hard for me. I had my hard times, but I've got a shitload to look forward to with Bayo and all those sorts of things. It's awesome.
And it's already starting to get cold there, isn't it?
Mate, it's fucking freezing right now. It's like 9 degrees.
There you go. That's what it feels like to be divorced, mate.
That's it. But
do you think that a man should be able to get married if he can't pass a BFA, really?
he's not really a man if he can't pass his BFA.
Well, look, why would a woman marry him if the best man's fitter? You know.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Well, mate, you get back and do what you have to do there, and let's have another phone call in the next couple of days. And mate, all the best. I wish I could say politically I'm rooting for you, but that doesn't go down these days unless you're a sailor.
Well, I hope to see you there, mate, and I'll flick you through the link to me live march out on Friday next week.
Sounds good, mate. Sounds good. What I want you to do is hold your breath. Don't move your feet. And I'll tell you what happened to you, once you have a good sleep. All right.
Once I swan dive, but yeah, and I'll be wiggling the fuck out of my toes, mate, because I'm not going down in front of my family.
Don't worry, mate. Your chin acts like a good airbag.
I've heard that. Seco said if you're going to go down well, mate, do it fucking well.
One last thing, mate. Do you want to give a quick call out to your kids?
Yeah, Trey in Brooklyn. He just had his sixth birthday yesterday. So he's into his footy. Had his first footy game yesterday as well. So he's doing well. But yeah, Trey in Brooklyn, my kids. Thank you very much for that, mate. Really appreciate it.
No worries,
all
mate.
your hard work with getting all these people through.
No problems at all, mate. Take it easy, mate. An Island in the Stream, Dolly Parton, famous for her hair, and a couple of other things.
All right, mate. Love your work. I'll speak to you soon.
See you, mate. Bye.
See you, mate. Bye.
There you go, team. The voice of success. Okay, fantastic. Guys and gals, that's going to be you soon enough. Our job as caddy is to get you there. Everyone's got an individual case. I get that. We've got a whole bunch of questions that you've asked. We're about to answer in a moment. Hope you enjoy those. Hi, Drunk Aussie. He's here. The Drunk Aussie, you got to watch out for this guy. I'm not sure what his flavour is, whether it's vermin broth, also known as VB, or whether it is the tequila itself. The drink that everyone claims they don't have a hard time on actually makes them a lover. Just like me, I've never snored. I've never heard myself anyway. Zane, how we going? However I can support the channel, all you need to do, mate, is basically be a subscriber, and we're happy to have anyone's here. Ty's currently outfield this week. He's cold. He's probably hugging another man there Ty's wife. He's day 3 of 10. I had a question about what happens out there. What is it is going to be a culmination of training. What it's going to be is a way of tying everything together, introducing them to the field, and that might be the hardest field depending on what corps they go to, they ever have. So it's nothing to be worried about. The only way to get out of that is injury or someone quitting because of the weather, and you've got plenty of people you can hug to keep warm. But unfortunately, they're the same sex. Anyway, with that out the way, guys and gals, let's hit our first question. Then we're going to go to some generic points in a moment. Okay, and the first one we're going to hit up is, bam, from Ankaladar, the Dragon. In a typical year, is there a set amount of time, this will be a great one for Ty's wife as well, is there a set amount of time you will be away from home, i.e. bush training, platoon, battalion training, and what is rostered in? I'll be able to plan around those times. You can and you can't. There is going to be a definitive plan that is out there for you that you won't necessarily get in writing. Although there will be a forecast of events, whether it'll be things like individual training, okay, then group training, platoon, company, battalion, brigade, the medals that need to be met, set activities. Things come up all the time. It's like the stock market. A yellow bell pops. Thank you, QPM. Okay, BRK got some great news as well today. You won't actually be able to do it because there's going to be integral trips away depending on the productivity of your command team as well, where you may be going away for a weekend, you might be going away for an activity, a range phase, a week of SOP, training standard operating procedures, or tactical techniques and procedures. You might be going away to do that. There might be mill skills. There might be all sorts of activities. There might be call-outs that happen. But the one thing you can bank on, if you don't look at it from the perspective of how much field am I going to do, and the answer for that, bank on about at least a week a month. It average out to about a week to 10 days a month, especially if you're in Townsville. But one thing you can bank on is the Army is starting to really get behind, and probably always has been, with family time. So you can bank on getting Easter leave, September leave, and Christmas leave. Basically 10 days at Easter, 10 days at September, and then anywhere up to 8 weeks, including normally a 10-day Chief of Army's grant, that happens over the Christmas, New Year's period. So you get all of the holidays pretty much that children get to make sure that you get that family balance with the people that matter to you at a time that matters. Okay, that's an important one. I'm going to leave this question up there. It depends on the time of the year. I tell people when you get up there at the start of the year, it's going to be thick and fast because it's all about individual skills. It's about resets. It's about fitness. It's about building up. Some idiots even try reverse cycle training, which means you work at night instead of day. We own the night. We pretend to. At the end of the year, it's about promotions. It's about courses, etc. It's about re-details. It's about a bunch of things. Donkey Bong. Hey, Kaz, thanks for all the videos over the ages. I'm enlisting on the 31st of May, 2021 for infantry position deemed competitive last week. Fantastic, Donkey Bong. Okay, I'd take Bong out of your name. But other than that, mate, I'm going to put you in the book. 31st of May is Donkey Bong. Okay, you're also going in with the bird kid and the big fella. Donkey Bong. Good to see you have changed your name there, mate. And I do recommend that everyone changes their name if they're going to be online. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, etc. Change your name. Okay, anything that you're going to hear in regards to bush training, bush time as well with the military, don't book weddings until you've spoken to your platoon commander and platoon sergeant. They'll decide when you get married, not your missus, not you. You can't just go, that's the time I'm doing it. They'll say no, you're not getting away for that. They'll let you know when you can. Okay, and that happens every month when you actually have your platoon commander notebook where you can say, hey, look, this is what's happening in my life. This is how life is. This is what I'd like to do. I'm starting to think of special forces. I never want to be promoted. I'm not going to stay in forever. I want to go to direct fire support weapons. I'm thinking about getting married. Guy or girl? Guy. Right. Corps transfer Navy. Coming up. Helping me up, platoon sergeant. Done. Okay, next question. And this allows you to ask these questions. I'm going to leave the questions up there in case that one becomes a question that is going to stimulate conversation from you. Kaz looks like my local IT repairer. Don't worry, mate. I turn into Deadpool, Batman, like a Zyrtec. Boom. Okay, Mags asks, when corporals are entering the room, this one may sound like a silly question, but it's not. When corporals are entering the room, can you explain how the trainees recruits should react in an informal setting? This also goes for sergeants. I know I'll be taught this, but I want to be prepared. Don't try and be 100% prepared. Shock of capture is there for a reason, team. But I'll explain something. When you're a recruit, or even when you get to the School of Infantry, unless told otherwise, when anyone of rank walks into your room, you will stand up and the nearest person will say, stand fast, facing the ranking person, give a salute if it's an officer, just stand fast if it's not, and then you'll be given instruction, whether it be from a section commander, whether it be from a bombardier, hate that name, sounds like someone with a gastro problem, or whether it's from a platoon sergeant, or whether it's a platoon commander, etc. Platoon commander won't be coming in. He's got too much paperwork, and I don't mean diarrhea. So that's a simple question, and that will continue on to the School of Infantry, where a section commander walks in, stand fast, because he's coming in to tell you the news. He doesn't want to have to get you off your bunk. He doesn't want to have to get you off your buddy. Stop hitting him and just listen to me for a moment, please, team. Okay. By the way, flash to JP, who's out there now, the sniper at the back of Lauren's house, working on his ghillie suit for his birthday present. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear JP, you non-talker. Happy birthday to you. Hip, hip, hooray, hip, hip, hooray, hip, up, hooray. How close to 50 are you, bro? It feels like forever, but I miss you, mate. All right, there you go. Now that's off the list, in case you're there. Johnny Zach. Jeff Fleming. I have the Pineapple Express sticker on the rear window of my car. And you've got that on the base. That's awesome. That's a page that you have to be invite only, you have to be military, and the military's trying to get rid of it. How long does it take to get rank after enlistment if you do courses ASAP? You won't be able to do courses as you need to there, Aussie bloke. Basically what will happen is it comes down to do they need people to get promoted? Okay, is there positions to be filled, etc. So the first one you'll get to is sub 1, and it can take actually a lot longer in Army Reserve than what it can take in the regular Army, because often they don't have definitive platoon section structures. It can be going up and down, people leaving, people staying, people being there forever, etc. So you're competing in a lot. But it's typical within the Australian Army. Now, I believe they promote way too quick and put soldiers, instead of what used to be called the sub 1, which was a very, very difficult course, because the first time you're away from your corps, it's the first time you're around all corps military. Okay, what happens when you go on that course, okay, and that normally goes between 6 and 8 weeks, is that you'll go on that with when your battalion needs to put people on, so you'll either go there too early, or a time when you don't actually want to go for it. Normally people want to get into promotions when they have children, family, make a career of it, get up the ranks. But each time you go up a rank, you want to know that you're not undercooked. Because as soon as you're a tactical commander, section commander, okay, who commands the most people directly out of anyone in the military, and directly, you have to have all the answers when something goes wrong. If you try to get up that, bust the cherry on that rank too early, and then you get up to the position, then something happens, and you're 1 kilometre, 2 kilometres out in the Badlands, and you don't know how to come up with the answer for that, then you could potentially put the rest of your soldiers in real danger, because they're not navigating as they go. You are. Okay, you're the one with all the answers, the communications, okay, the control, okay, and communications control and C3. Shit, the most important thing, and I've already forgotten it. Command, control, and communications. There you go. If you don't have the command and it looks bad when you see it go to shit, team, it's horrible. Neon, hey mate, will you go through bad, and I mean bad stuff in the army or after? You don't normally go through bad stuff during the army because you feel like it's going 100 miles an hour. It's not until you get over your military career where you have time to not only ferment within your maturity, but also your dislocation from location, postcode, platoon, battalion, etc., where you start to think, now I've got to solve all my problems by myself. I don't have a section, platoon, company, CSM, RSM to lend a hand of wisdom to help me out. So that's what goes on there. Zane has become a member. That's insane of you to do that. Do you get it? Insane. Guys and gals, can we also welcome Zane to the Orbat? You know, I'm not sure how tall you are. I'm going to put you in the centre. Okay. I'll be 21 at Singo. That's a good age, Easy Outback. I get it. Well, 25 KIA in that battle. 25 killed in action in that battle. Which one are we talking about? Hopping off. Night all. Rad joined us before. Great to have you here, Rad. Sorry to see you go. Nicole. Lauren, 50 plus is the new cool. It is for me. That's the great thing about being 50. You know, we can go with the older girls, we can go with the younger girls, you know, or we can go solo. Because by now you've probably got a hell of a lot of hobbies, a hell of a lot of interest, and not enough time to spend on them. Dylan, Lambo, Lamb. The calamari trifecta. Zane, figured out eventually, Lauren. Happy to pay both for the amount of info you guys give out. Look, we're just here because we're savages. It's totally selfish. We just love it. Boom. Carl P. Here he is. Kaz, what age would you say is too old to join infantry? For all the young watchers who are thinking about putting a pen to paper, do it now. Have Pepsi with your salad. Now, again, that's an excellent question. Gabrielle, love the name. Love it. It's one of my favourite names, actually. How old is too old? Well, it depends on the individual, but there's a few facets we're going to uncover. We're going to peel back. We're going to unwrap. Okay, this one is to you, Mrs. Robinson. No, it's to JP. This is his drink. There's Dave D. Look at that. The amputee flexing the one arm he's got. You'll never get that from Pepsi, team. Never. JP, that's for you, my friend. Nothing brushes teeth like Coca-Cola. For all those ladies that might have thought I was smart, there's some rudeness just to balance me out. So this is the deal. What I want you to do, if you're 20, 21 years old and you're going to infantry, do you want to share a 2-metre location, battle buddy, pit, with a 45-year-old? No, you don't. What about a 40-year-old? Probably not. What about 35? Starting to push it, mould on the side of the bread. What about 30? Yeah, okay. There's going to be a completely different dynamic. What if you're a section commander and you're 26? Do you want someone 35 above you? So you're almost telling your dad what to do. It creates a weirdness. We have our time to enlist in the military. We put things off, responsibilities. And this is completely different to Army Reserve. I'm talking about regular Army here. So you've got to put yourself on both sides and say, it's not just a physical fit, intellectual fit, maturity fit, but it's a longevity fit. How long can I get out of you? What are you here for? How long are you here for? Are you here for 40 years? Are you here for the full career? Are you here for 4 years? Because there's things that once you get to certain ages, there's other roles that make more sense. I believe over 30 years old or over 27 years old, I'd be thinking more cav than infantry. Does it mean you can't go to infantry? Absolutely not. But the maturity level, because it's a smaller group even still, it makes more sense to have maturity there. Because you've got your family, you come on, okay, you look after your vehicle, okay, the relationship between the driver and the crew commander I've never understood it in cavalry personally. You know, I've met some real nasty bastards. The way they speak to their driver, just like some tradies speak to their apprentice, and I'm not a fan. You know, I don't treat the people that work for me like shit, regardless of their age or previous occupation. You know, but that's to everyone. But people will always remember the way they were led, and you hope they won't be the same as those that led them if it was less than the standard required. So I guess I've sort of always been against anti-bullying, but I also don't believe in ever naming names. Cav is cavalry, mate, but it's confusing because they don't have swords, they don't have horses, so work that one out. So what age would you say is too old? I would say anything over 35 is definitely too old for infantry. You know, I've met a couple of people, you know, that I've worked with, but it's very, very rare you're going to come up with someone that's over 30 that's joining regular infantry. It's quite normal in Army Reserve. Any Army Reservists out there, let us know on what some of the ages you see as a typical age in your Army Reserve depots, please. Dave Penson, all the way from Vietnam, his first tour and second. The first attack on fire support base Coral, 12 and 13, May 68. Yep, and we won that one too. Thank you very much to the artillery that gave us a hand. Yeah. So it really depends on the person. That's a tough one to answer. You know, but I'll know the answer as soon as the person walks in front of me. I'll go, you're too old or too young. You know, there's a lot of people that are too young to join infantry, that's for sure. Interesting to think 30 is pushing the age for infantry. I'd have thought some mature minds on the battlefield. No, not at all. It's you're a professional athlete in the infantry, mate. It's one thing to come in. That's why I say females should never join infantry. We don't want you coming for 4 years. We want you to come for 10. We want you to get there, get to section command, and then decide, is this what I want or not what I want, then leave. There's nothing worse than losing great soldiers at the 4-year mark in their prime when they're starting to understand the conversation, exactly what they're doing within that uniform, able to actually contribute back tactically, and then they're gone. And we normally lose them because of either poor leadership, okay, or peer pressure. And when I say peer pressure, I mean people that are actually being poached to go off to other employments, etc. Or a young lady that takes them away with their denim collection. Now, we lose the best soldiers at the 4-year mark, and it's sad because so many of them regret it for the rest of their careers as well. And besides, there is also another interesting one. There is, you think 30 is pushing the age of infantry. I thought having some mature minds. The mature minds is the 2IC, and it is the section commander. Like, you look in prison, the first thing that happens, or a football team or whatever, the first thing they have to do is create a hierarchy within the block. Now, in the military, what we do is we create that hierarchy by putting a commander, section commander there, who doesn't speak up to the platoon sergeant, platoon commander, circle of trust, tries to protect you as much as you can from yourself, and from others. From then you've got the 2IC, the mum, and then you've got the soldiers. 5 other soldiers. Okay, 6 other soldiers, sorry. There used to be 9 of us. A lot can go wrong. A lot can go wrong. Right, so that's where the maturity comes from. When you've been overseas, everyone matures fairly quickly through watching the mistakes of others. Nicole King. Sorry, Josh, you won't be accepted in the Army or ADF as you have a potential life-threatening illness that needs to be confronted by meds. Joshy, what's he? I'll kick the meds, but it's epilepsy. They won't let you in with epilepsy, mate. I'm sorry. But again, that will come out, the determination of that in the assessment session, mate. Don't listen to Kaz. Capital Gaming. Hey, man, I just got my enlistment date today for Royal Australian Navy. Let us know, Capital Gaming. As much as I tease the sailors in white that save money for the government by all sleeping on the same bunk and using the same piece of soap in the same shower, I'm also a fan of you guys. Love yous, but not in the same kind of way. So, mate, let us know when you're joining so I can put you in the green book, the invisible book. Paddy at Devlin. What about infantry officer? I'm over 30, Kaz. Army Reserve would be good for you. I'm going to RMC this July intake at 33. They won't put you in infantry, mate. Okay, don't worry about it, Paddy. Okay, and happy St. Patrick's Day. You can't get more St. Patrick's than Patrick. Basically what happened is you won't choose your corps. You can say that's what you want to do, but at 33, they're unlikely to put you in infantry. It's more likely they're going to shift you to logistics and use your, what would you call it? Your maturity, okay, as an asset to go into something else. You know, that's one of the things about going to infantry. To officers' team. You don't actually get to pick your corps. The army will decide on what corps you're going to. Father Chad, I've got one of your questions was up here. It's on my next page, and it was about age as well. Dave. Yes, the sailor jokes never stop. I love it. Zane, it's all good, man. Boydie, how you going, mate? 30 minutes, Kaz. Thank you, man. 30 minutes. Time goes fast when you're on fire. Blakey-O, if not Army, would you choose Air Force or Navy? There is nothing that could make me go to Air Force, mate. I can't be a pilot. Honestly, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. You know, they're out there, Air Force, but I'm not a fan. Sorry. Mate, just don't go looking for the golden rivet. It's there too, Liam. I've heard it's there. I've looked for it, you know, but I made sure someone had me back. And I don't mean someone from the Navy. Will I be rejected from the ADF if I was born from a cleft palate? No, that should be okay, mate. But again, I'll let you know when it gets to the assessment session. And remember one thing, like Joshy Fawn's there, he wants infantry. Remember one thing, when you're a soldier, you're also a public speaker. You're gonna think, what the hell are you talking about, Kaz, when you meet some of the army guys and go, that guy can't talk for shit, if not at all. The four-tusked beast that Lauren was talking about in one of her streams every single day, 9:30, Lauren is Shining brings out a video, if you can, team. Lauren, can you please put a link up right now to your channel so people can subscribe and hopefully we can see a bump on this stream? Please. Mr. Bryce, ex-infantry as well. We give shit to the Navy, but they are senior service. Look, the reason why I'm not a fan of Air Force is, you know, other than the pilots, I just see the guys just wearing their uniform so badly. They never look military. They always look bad in uniform every Anzac Day, and they're always the ones being dicks, you know, while representing the ADF, especially on the piss. And funny enough, Army aren't allowed to wear their uniform ever, okay, on the piss. Air Force, I don't know whether they're allowed or whether they're not allowed. I don't know what it is, but they're always in uniform. It rarely fits properly, you know, and they seem to be the ones that make the biggest dicks of themselves personally. And they get treated the best overseas despite the fact they get paid more too, I think. Having said that, I do know some really good people in there. Some of them are even Aggies. Edibot. Hey, Kaz, I just passed my assessment day and I picked infantry as my first choice in intelligence analyst. I'd love that role. As my second, I really prefer infantry. Do you know if there is a long wait for infantry? I believe there is still a good wait, but I've also believed that there is a chance that there might be the raising of new battalions coming up. And that would be very interesting to see, because it's not easy just to come up with 1,000 new soldiers and equipment and logistics and support from another artillery battery, armoured vehicles to go with that, clerical staff, medical staff, you know, engineer support, aviation helos, fuel operators, transport, playtime, Ramey, officers cadre, good officers. It's not as easy as it sounds. It's a big task. Just take the recovery slow. It takes, who's hurt himself? Well, I watched your tattoos video a couple of days ago. Bloody cool. She's bloody good at tattooing, mate, I tell you. The medical assessment, Billy, is one of the scariest things you'll ever do, because what they can do is find things on you that you had no idea about yourself, whether that be colour blindness, whether that be blood tests, whether it be eye tests, whether it be hearing tests, whether it be blood disorders, whether it be an inverted drumstick that sticks out your coit when you walk like a duck naked, whether you have a hernia, whether you have any psychological discrepancy that comes out. So it can be scary, or it's like being over the drip pan on a car that's 10 years old. You go, geez, I hope I Hope I get a clear bill of health here. Hyperscars. Yeah, that's right, Carl P. I'm only a couple of days out of surgery, doing muscle activation stuff now. Take it easy. Let your body get back to scratch, mate. And don't do yourself a mischief. Boom. We've got Daz. Now, this guy is a Hyundai driving, lunatic. Uses a sheep on a rope as a handbrake. Comes from down south. Yeah, real Aussie. Love the dude. Never met him. I've got a question, Kaz, in relation to dealing with chemical warfare. I watched a video of RAF Aggies being in a gas chamber, having to remove their masks, open eyes, breathe and recount their name, service number, mission details, birth dates, etc., while getting the full effect of gas. Does infantry do this kind of thing also? Here's a beautiful thing for you, Daz. Everyone in the army does it. Everyone in the army does gas training. NBCD. Boxwood, nuclear, chemical, biological warfare officers. What they'll introduce you to is the effects of tear gas and even capsicum spray, depending on what you're doing. Because the whole point of it is, if you're allowed to put it out there, then you have to know what it feels like and what you're doing to others. Now, what happens there is a number of tiers of qualification within the gas training that you all have to do, and you get fatigued, sweaty, so it has more effect on you, and then you go into the tent and it's to check the seal. So you'll be in there the first time, you'll simply go in there with your mask on, all your equipment, right? And then from there, what it'll be is, can you feel it around the seals? Do you have a seal on your mask? Does it fit? You can't fake it. You'll know when someone is acting like a 92-year-old smoker, that they're having a hard time and haven't got a good seal, and say Diddy Mao from that bloody village. But what happens is, the next time you come in is the big one. That's when you come in, you'll have the mask, and one by one, they'll go, righto, Kaz, what you're going to do is when I tell you, you're going to take your mask off, and then you're going to tell us this list of things plus some random shit. And the whole reason I ask you that random shit is to see if you're actually capable of acting professionally while under the conditions of the tear gas agent, right? And it can be either stronger than normal or it can be weaker than normal. It sucks. Some people it doesn't affect as much as others, but some people it is an absolute devastation, and I love it. I really love seeing some people get walloped by it. Aussie player, where are you, mate? That came across as Euro. Mutsu Cow, he says, with the orange donations about to pop up on the screen. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We love the Euro. The Euro is so goddamn expensive. I remember buying 20 Euro shouts, over in Spain at the Los Rumbles, and at the MotoGP, and in Italy, but they were for myself. Geez, it racked up a bill. Especially if they're telling you got a tip in euros too. Aussie player, what's your question? Let us know. He's abroad, bring him home. So you will get gassed. And if you actually get capsicum sprayed, now that's the next level. That's going to put you down. You're going to hit the ground. It's going to take 40 minutes to recover. Tear gas, 5 minutes, you're uncomfortable, but you put your clothes back into the dryer, etc. You're going to nuke yourself again. It used to be considered one of the funniest things when we used to get our hands on tear gas in the early 90s. But you'd put some on your mate's fan. You'd put some in people's ashtrays where you were allowed to smoke. But now that'd be classed as a terrorist action. But geez, it was funny. And it was worth it. Fighting with the turret was swar. He's from armour. He was a tanky. Infantry, not that hard. You can't say that, mate. You got around in a metal taxi your whole bloody career, mate. You didn't get that double chin from carrying packs, my friend. Any armoured question that you could possibly have is fighting the turret with swap. Scotty Healy, I can say his name now. He's not a dentist. He worked right beside me. He was the Blue Force, Red Force tracker, enemy, and I was the Blue Force tracker, if I got it right, mate. He was a tanky. We don't send our tanks overseas. Can you please tell us what is going to be the role of cavalry in Australia now, are they going to be just used for scouting now that every battalion is going to be motorised or mechanised, except the 2nd Battalion, the Royal Australian Regiment, second to none, that is going over to be, which is our amphibious component. So can you let us know what their role would be? I believe it's going to be reconnaissance, armoured reconnaissance. Hayden Creek, hey Kaz, is anyone 26 years of age and I'm looking at joining as an intelligence analyst? I'd love that as my first preference. Was wondering what kind of exposure you had to this side of army. Well, I used to train guys that were in the HUMINT teams on unarmed combat because they're the guys that can travel along either assisted by infantry or cavalry, or even with just a small protection team of their own, which wouldn't suffice if they got in trouble. They're an unusual bunch of characters that look like they could all play chess. That's a political way of saying they're geeky-looking mofos. But their job is outstanding, and it's getting better and better and more technical without the crazy shit of trying to cut up maps with actual scissors, etc. They're in all of your posting locations pretty much. I think you'd absolutely love it, absolutely be inspired by it, and that's something you could do for 40 years, no dramas at all. Yep. Yeah. A lot of jobs within there. And Ty's wife. Thank you. Did the gassing last week? They all said it was shit. There you go. But apparently they were the first ones to try the new gear. Damn, there's new gear. They're still going to make you take the new gear off, but that's the irony of it. Let's have a look at another couple of questions before... No, we'll move on to the next ones, actually. Sorry. Bam. Mr. Ibrahim, how should I physically prepare myself for Kapuka and infantry and the School of Infantry and the Corps? This one's an interesting one, team. Before we get to that, I'll quickly go to Fighting Turret Soir. We put the chemical tabs in the phones to gas people for shits and giggles and tell them, yep, that's pretty accurate. Brycey, we used to crush CS gas tablets into powder and put it in certain officers' cars' heating system that they used. That sounds about normal. And in Townsville, it wasn't unheard of to put it in nightclubs in ashtrays so that you could get the women as well that had cheated on you. I didn't do it. Okay, if the police are listening to me now. So good. Stop dribbling, Kaz. Mr. Bryce. Evil bastard. So how physically prepared do we have to be? This is an excellent question because Mr. Ibrahim that's brought this to us. Stop it. We had a situation today where one of our subscribers is goddamn worried. He rang me up today. We spoke for ages. And basically what happened is he went to recruiting and he said that he wanted to go to infantry. And second choice was to go to the direct entry scheme as commando. And the third one was to be the chief of the army. They said, well, we can't let you go to infantry, but the other two you might have a crack at. Do you hear that? But basically what happened was someone that had never been to infantry was giving him advice on infantry. This mentors that you're getting aren't even from the goddamn corps that you're going to, which, as far as I'm concerned, is fugazi. You want to know something about infantry and cavalry, you come here and you speak to Kaz. You want to know something about armoured corps, you go and speak to the turret with Soir, fighting the turret. Okay, don't speak to someone from another corps about a fighting corps. They will not be able to give you the good gossip on it, honestly. They'll give you the technical data only. And what I suspect is this young lad that got the advice, they put him down for 2 commando, and they're trying to push that down his throat. Now, he realises now he doesn't have the fitness required at this stage to be a good candidate, either maturely or sense of confidence about that role pick. And now he wants to come back to infantry. Now, when I asked him, was that person from infantry, he said, no, they weren't. So that means someone that has never been in an arms corps has pushed that guy because they had numbers to fill on something that was setting this guy up for a fall. And that's a crime. That's disgusting. Because they don't know what it's like for that kid once he does Kapuka. Okay, we'll call it 12 weeks, 13 weeks. Single them 12 or 13 weeks. And then goes in with a bullish platoon of guys who are apex predators. And I don't mean on each other sort of thing. And if you're not good to go and you were the last of that group, it can be a long, slow death of 1,000 cuts before you're culled, and then understand that you never had a chance from the start, and then you go back to infantry, and the one title you've got added to your name is that you failed the special forces, because then they're going to think, oh, did you think you were going to be good enough for that? When you go, no, dude, I got shoehorned into that position by someone who'd never done the job either. So that doesn't make sense. Okay, so how physically prepared for Kapooka and School of Infantry? Kapooka, how long's a piece of string? If you can do the pre-enlistment fitness assessment easily, then you always need to surpass that, because no matter what happens in military, when you have your worst day, you're not going to be fit enough. Is it the fact that your body falls apart and you fall over on a field? Because you can't just tap out. Is it going to be that you make a bad decision because your body starts to fail, then your mind fails, and then your combat ineffective? Hashtag just another casualty due to lack of professional preparedness, because you thought your corps would never have to be in a position where you actually had to get your goddamn gritty little five-thumbed hand dirty. Everyone needs to be fitter than what you think you need to be. Army fit. Infantry, on the other hand, you've got to take into account if you have a worst day. Worst day is not you being injured. Worst day is your buddy has been injured, and you're either left, forward, right, forward, rear left or rear right on a stretcher, and you can't maintain carrying pack casualty to get him out of there at the time within the golden hour to get to the helo, and as a result of inability to move the patient, he succumbs to his wounds. Or you're unable to use your weapon in an effective manner. Or you become a burden to your call sign, and an entire platoon is moving at your old woman pace, and therefore you don't make a timing that was critical for the survival of another group call sign of soldiers. Or you can't use your weapon effectively. How fit do you need to be? Fitter than whatever you are. Fitter than whatever you are is the answer. That's probably the easiest way. There is no tap out. As soon as you go overseas, you start dying physically. You won't have enough food. You're going to be surviving on just enough water, not enough sleep. Oh, we've got another member coming in. Christopher Livermore. I wish my liver lived more. Christopher, can we get some thumbs up there in groups of at least 2 or 4, preferably not 3, group average, the best way to understand the distance. Chris, out to you, my friend. Make sure you put a question down there. Everyone make him feel welcome. Thomas 334. I'm great, mate. I am great, but I'm 343. It's a tough one. It's not until you actually get in the military, and for the infantry guys out there, you'll remember the first time you put your hands up onto a wet and sandy rope at the School of Infantry where the traverse rope begins, and you're already thinking, oh shit, I'm about to be exhausted in the next 45 seconds. Everything you have getting across those ropes, carrying a machine gun, carrying a rifle, EF-88, carrying a GLA, carrying your body armour, carrying your helmet, carrying your weapon, carrying your ammo, carrying your water, and everything else, and then carrying yourself. And that's the first 45 seconds, and that's 400 metres. Obstacle course. And that's a way of seeing people's fitness, their teamwork, their ability to get back up again, because if you don't do good enough and you're pre-fatigued in the Kentucky Fried Chicken secret spices, we call the sand pit beside it, as your warm-up, which is like a PT session in itself, you'll never be fit enough, team. You'll never be fit enough. And you know what? If you feel like your fitness is beyond the level it needs to be, you'll either get 1, promoted, or 2, you'll start to think, maybe Special Forces is for me. And guess what happens when Special Forces come together for either 2 Commando or SASR? No one does it easy. what'll happen is then it'll be the same as the person that comes from Great Britain that is the fastest person for the marathon team that goes to the Olympics, then comes last and goes, I was a beast at my unit, yet here I am, understand what it feels like to come last. Australia, when you're around other people that are similar to you, it is so easy to take your strengths for granted until you are the 1%er of your call sign that then goes and meets the 1%ers of other call signs, and then you become the bottom men. You'll get tested. You'll get tested, and it doesn't matter how fit you are. You might not be the first one to fall, but there is sometimes a very close line between the fittest and the slowest, or the most prepared and the least prepared. Carl P. Kaz, can you explain what you meant before Kapuka is too political? Yeah, I can, Carl. What there is at the moment is, for the first time ever, we've got people that are coming in where the gender war is happening, where we have quota, where we have people coming in that wear a completely different uniform, completely different standards, completely different, what would you call it? List of things that they have diplomatic immunity from. What I'm talking about is female soldiers here, but this is none of their doing. It's people on their behalf. They don't have to cut their hair. They don't have to shave every morning. They do have to get their hair put up. They only have to sign on for 2 years. They basically get whatever posting they want. The female soldiers that we have here, Nicole King, she wasn't part of that army. This is all a brand new thing. We're seeing now that fitness, you used to get back squatted in the first 2 weeks if you couldn't pass a BFA, and that was when it was 5 kilometres. Now you can't fail at all. But we still managed to fail, like we heard before, 15 out of 50-something soldiers. That's crazy. How much did those 15 people cost the army to get to that position at a time where it's the hardest to possibly fail? Where we have people that have never done a certain corps that are telling people that's the corps you're going to without having any corporate understanding. By having people in the HR departments within recruiting that have never been in the army at all. Someone from the Navy who's giving you advice on how to be a soldier. Someone who's in the army who's trying to give someone the advice on how to be in the Navy. Put on some Brute 33. Have a long tie and don't look backwards. I don't know. It just sounds like we're not setting people up with the best advice from the best people, taking away all of the political correctness and telling people just the way it is. Telling someone who's fat, one of the good things is in maritime you probably can't sink. You look like you'd be good at swimming. What are you saying? Let people know. We have people that come here and go, they said come back in a year, come back in 2 years, come back in 3. But then when you speak to him, you go, this guy's got no chance. Why don't they tell him the truth? Don't let him stuff around for another 3 years, not realising he never had a chance at all. Yeah. Anyway. It seems like that the rank is so scared of certain soldiers that they've even made up criminal levels of entry that can end up costing the lives of those that are highly qualified. Just because they meet a certain social criteria, which is not meant to touch military employment. Just like it didn't touch 100 years ago. If you couldn't ride a horse, you weren't going to light horse. If you weren't above a certain height, you couldn't join. If your eyesight is not enough, you can't. If your education is not enough, then you can't. Yet then we have people now that they're going, well, you're not fit enough to even be able to potentially get out of bed and climb over a fence. But because we need more of that quota, yep, you're good to go. What happens when that person then does a mishap with a weapon system, hurts another person? Who do you blame? I don't know, enough on that one. Because I need you guys to come back alive. I want you to have the best chance of coming back alive. And anything that gets in the way of that means it needs to be dragged down within our military appreciation process of our own call sign. Say, these are our weaknesses. We need to call it out because that is, metaphorically, bam, the elephant in the room. And if he's the elephant or she's the elephant, let her know. Or him. Hey, Will I am. Special Wakehurst, those who are wanting to join are lucky to have this valuable information. Will, the funny thing is, so many people don't find it. That's what I don't understand. Sean Goodrich, tyres. Hey, Kaz, what experience do you have with officers, both infantry and otherwise? I'm asking because I did a week of work experience at RMC and didn't hear much of the other side. We can do a stream on that. We've got Gitgup. Will there throwing a cup of coffee at me there. Nutsu Cow, thank you very much. I'll make sure it's at least lukewarm, and I'll put that in my gob tomorrow. Thank you very much, my friend. Cheers. I deserve that. Maybe not. Officers. Mate, I've worked with officers extensively. Some of the best ones, I believe, that have served in the Australian Army in the last 30 years. How do I know that? Because a lot of them have actually gone to Special Forces successfully. A lot of them have made it as battalion commanders. Some of them have become brigade commanders. You know, fantastic. Some of them don't cut it at all. You know, as a junior, not junior, as a tactics and leadership instructor for officers, as well as for up-and-coming platoon sergeants, it was my absolute privilege to be able to teach a man to fish that was the officer, and then teach him what it's like from the receiving end of orders to allow them to basically modify what they do, you know, so they are not only just better accepted, but their leadership goes further. Because there's two conversations you have as an officer. I'll explain that in a sec. Aussie Player 100, welcome to the Bearer of Coffee. Not suit cow. My hand is getting sore tonight. Thank you, team. Can we get some hands up for Aussie Player, 26th of January right there. And thank you very much, mate. Welcome to the crew. You know, you're going to see yourself in another month. Get a Lance Corporal stripe. That's a fast promotion. A month later, you'll be a section commander. And then after that, 6 months, you'll be a platoon sergeant. Good on you. Good to have you here. Let us know if you've got a question. JD, always good to see you here, mate. Anyway. So, fitness. What else we got? Oops. Bam. Marky the Zamp. Is it possible to see no combat as an infantryman? And what's the likelihood of that happening? Hope the little one gets well soon. My daughter was sick, not my down there, ladies. Don't be afraid. I'm okay and good to go. But haven't proved it in years. Mate, you've got to be careful what you ask for, Mark. It's not like the movies. And that's not trying to be disrespectful to you. You know, but combat, we've been pretty lucky. We tend to win every time, pretty much. But that doesn't mean the guy that loses his life wins, does it? Now, when you see people that don't look like humans anymore, when you see people that have been on the other side of modern weapon systems, it's not what you expect. And you can't unsmell, you can't unsee, you can't untaste the air, the things you do, the things you see. They don't necessarily scar you, but they make you different. And what if the next time we're in a fight, it's not with asymmetric militia, it's actually with a proper army who's under orders, who meets us with almost peer equipment. But not only that, it means a situation that has occurred that means that civilians are in the line of fire, which is a tragedy under any circumstances. For example, what we're seeing happening, which we can't mention the names really, but let's just say that it's happening, where would we say? How can we say this? Where I used to work at the Sinai Peninsula. You know, the people over to the side, the place not classed as a state, you know, and Mountain Dew. You know what I mean? They're fighting at the moment. They're having a real brouhaha. You know, I had a great conversation today where someone said, how can we stop these people fighting? I said, you can't. You can't. The reason being is too much has happened in the past where there is religious differences and statements being made. There is people that have lost people. They live too close. They can't get away from each other. And then there's the money, gangster, reputation side of things as well. There's not going to be a happy outcome. The closest thing we had was with the last US administration. Now that's gone. Those peace negotiations are over. And it's sad. It's sad for all. Yep. I'd love to be able to talk plainly on here, but politics has crept into here as well. Unless you're talking about any one of subjects that seems to be like an oxymoron that you can talk about. And I won't go into those because I'll get us cut down. Lukey Bell. Tiffany will ring your bell. Hey, mate, broke my legs 2 years ago and have completely recovered. I can run 10 kilometres comfortably. Will the Army accept my Army combat application? The fact that it was 2 years ago, mate, means you've probably got a good case. But again, Luke, that's going to come out at your assessment, okay, session, which can go crazily yes, or what do you mean no? They'll want X-rays, and any information they get from you has to be based on new medical information. If it's not new, they don't care about referrals. They don't care about references from people. All they want to know is they're not going to pick up the bill for medical situations that were caused not by them, that could potentially cause them to have $1 million suit in the future. We've got Will I Am has just joined us in the Great Unwashed. The Army's getting bigger tonight, team. What's your cow? Welcome, Will I Am. Great to have you here, mate. Great to have you here. Liam, people will fight till the borders are happy. Just look at European history. It's the same like the IRA. They don't know why they're fighting. They do. There's a lot of reasons why. Probably exactly the same as, I'll say it once, Palestine. Dylan the Lamb, 343. Not Silence of the Lamb. 103 views. Be good to see 103 likes. We should have the don't likes on here too, shouldn't we? I don't mind if people don't like, but geez, I'd like to see the reason why. Nicole, if it was like old days, you'd be sent to orthopedics for a CT to see all is good to go. And there's a massive difference between being hurt in the military and someone being hurt and then coming into the military. And again, what I recommend you do is look at your own case and then put yourself on the other side of the table and say, would I employ me if there was 3 people and I was amongst those 3 people? What do I have that makes me, bigger than the sum of this injury? And if you think of it from that point of view, you might have a better chance of getting in. How's that sound? That sounds like wisdom right there. Mr. Patterson, the site is open to the public with the right paperwork and the right tour guide. Okay, we're talking about, is this about Coral? I was your guide. I was a guide to Longtan and Nui Dat as a volunteer. Well done, Dave. But he's not 19 anymore. My dad was at Nui Dat. That was where the Vietnamese were coming through. Okay, the North Vietnamese are coming through, and they were going to hit Nui Dat through the engineers' location, which would have been absolutely, catastrophic to the Australian task force. Aiden Sack, a sack of Aiden. Hey Kaz, hope and to be in infantry soon when I finish school. What age would be recommended attempting to qualify for special forces? Well, I'd even say, what age should you qualify for infantry? Because you've got to let your bones grow. You've got to let yourself get in a position where your body matures and you start to become a man, physically, not like me, who, again, I've stated many times, looked like a Japanese schoolgirl when I went in. 19 is a good age to join the military. Some kick goals at 17, but that's not typical. All right, Baruta, you'll have to be the best in your infantry training session to get that spot. What's he after, mate? Senor Baruta. Nicole King, okay, need to go, be good and behave. Nicole King, don't be confused, team. King is actually a queen in this stage, but that is her surname. Aiden Kaz, make a great video for folks like yourself. Check the back catalogue. Fighting the turret, mad jokes. Aiden's sack. Thanks, Lauren. We'll check you out after the stream. Aiden, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. We are the cutting edge of non-political correctness when it comes to getting you from point A to point B with the narrowest level of wiggle room, while allowing the most amount of wiggle room to bring you inside the fold. Okay? Okay, if you can all recommend to a friend, not just someone who wants to join military team, but everyone that knows someone who's having a god-hard time in life, bring them to our channel. Tell me the subjects you want to talk about, and we will talk about that, and we'll steer that in a direction where they get free psychological advice, from someone that sees psychiatrists and psychologists. Because what are they really? All they are is a monetized person to speak to who doesn't backchat you. Toby Hines, what is your experience and or thoughts about Army intelligence roles, Kaz? Toby, I've worked with them. They've been in the locations I've been into. They used to feed us a lot of bullshit to basically, I think, justify their job. But now there's so much for them to be on top of. They don't have time for the politics. I think it's fantastic. They've got a whole lot of different sectors within there, whether it be analysts, and I don't mean Navy again. Analysts. Okay, they have HUMINT teams. They have translators. They've got a whole bunch of people there, mate. If that's what you think you're going to do, it'll fit. It's better for older people because then they're also using their life experience mixed with their inner gut feeling. How do you solve a crime? Listen to my mind, listen to my gut, my life experience, what I've seen roll and what I've seen fail in the past. And they go from there. Better vanilla. Chicken boy. Peacekeepers are NATO. Not all the time. Because there's NATO and there's United Nations. They're two different groups. Do you, Kaz, or anyone else know effective ways to strengthening your back? Giuliano, one of the best ways to do it is strengthening your back is through your core, okay, doing planking, doing core stability exercises, including sit-ups, doing losing fat, okay, belly fat, okay, not being too big bulk-wise, by doing resistance training, by doing symmetrical training, which works just as much the back as what it does the anterior, being your chest, abs, etc. Yep. Exercise is the best way to strengthen it, mate. And actually doing hard, heavy weights, because what that does is strengthen your bones as well. But that can also cut down your cardio, can't it, Aussie bloke? Yeah, very, very strong man, but not a fan of the cardio. And then today, the poor bugger done his leg as well. Robbie Kent, the master of hounds, Jay brother. Did everyone know it's JP's birthday today? The sniper of the stream. Better vanilla. Talk about your day when you're on a call to him. He's probably exhausted and just wants to listen to your voice. I'm not sure what that's about. Yaros, now I want a kebab. One more hurdle, Kaz. PFA next week, Wednesday. We're almost there. That shouldn't even be a drama for you, kebab guy. You know, what that should all be about is you laughing at those that didn't prepare as they get told come back in a year, depending on what their gender is. And that should be the standard. Now that everyone knows the score, it simply should be, if you fail your PFA, it should be come back in 1 year, and I bet you they take it more seriously next time. Billy, CrossFit is the perfect mix. I absolutely believe that, Billy. You know, but I see sometimes some really stupid training that's happening in CrossFit. They are the worst people on earth at heaves. That kipping is absolutely shit. There is no advantage to it. All it does is damage the body. You know, if you can do, strict chin-ups, that's fine. That kipping, I've never understood that one. Any advice for reserve officers going through Kapooka without looking like a try-hard or wannabe? Don't mention a single thing about being an officer. That's what I'd recommend. Because that's not what they want to see. If you want to talk to someone, talk to Dave D, who is in chat right now, because all I'll say is he knows. He knows there, James. He'll be able to answer any one of your questions. Mr. Bryce, stay in contact as much as possible, Jess. He'll need to hear from you. We get very hungry to hear from our partners when we're in the military, when we're in operations, when we're in Kapooka, when we're in Singo, etc. Tiddlywinks. At the same. Okay, talk amongst yourselves. Jess Amari. Thanks, chat. I wish they had Jesse's girl. Daz got his arm outside his Hyundai, using kangaroos as chicanes. Mr. Bryce, exactly. Hey, happy birthday, JP, from the lazy type of the Britty cars. Yes. What else do we have here? DFR quota system, yep. Leadership versus management. Okay. What we're starting to see, guys and gals, is we're starting to see people getting mixed up with the word management getting used with leadership. There's a massive difference. Civilian role, normally not leadership, normally management. Dealing with HR department's the most corrupt departments there is. You know? So good. Some of the fights that happen between worker, HR, and business owner, especially in the private industry, can be absolutely horrendous. Hey, Kaz, do you know Brian Buskell? I do, JD. He was actually in my platoon, and he was in my platoon for a wander as well. Warrant Officer Class 1 Buskell. Yep, bipolar. You either hate him or love him. I've hated him and I've loved him, but not in a Navy kind of way. No, he's my door is open for him anytime. Yep, no problems at all. Never thought he'd lose his hair. Never suspected that. But he looks great in uniform, and he's always one of the first people to say good day to you, and it doesn't matter who is around him, he'll always have time for you. And that's a good judge of leadership and character. So for that, good man. I'd always lift a glass, and if he ever called me, I'd be there to help anytime he wanted. Kaz, one of the book Luxor reviews off to Kapooka next week. One for the book, Luxor. Is that the Luxor, the casino? Where is this young man? Or young lady? Sorry to gender specify too early. What's the date for Mr. Luxor? Or Mrs.? Are they even on the channel? You got to be on the channel to get in the book. I can't see. When they pop back up again, I'll put them in the book. Great channel, Kaz. Thank you, Will. It's great to have you here. Off to rack out. You got to get that sleep when you can, mate. Catch you guys and girls in the next stream, which is always on Mondays and Fridays between 7:15 pretty much and 9:30. It's 8:30 at the moment. My little girl just got her extenders on for braces today. She took it like a champ, which is great. Jay, I'll give her a little bit more time. Her mum's coming home later tonight, which means she'll be up playing with her puppy, little fur pillow, Achilles, who's doing bloody great. Do you know what the difference is between the MV1 and MV2 security clearance, etc.? Aussie, I actually don't know what that is, but the actual security process is, I believe, completely arse-face when it comes to Australian Army. Being cleared to secret used to be a need-to-know basis. It was very hard to get that clearance. It's very expensive to get it if you're a civilian. And everyone gets cleared to secret, which means it's not that big a deal anymore. You know, you're giving a clearance to an 80,000 person potential force through the ADF that all have Facebook. The danger of that is pretty easy to see. But yeah, so we'll get rid of these questions here for a second, and go back to what it's all about. Kaz, you're forgetting they could be an attack helicopter. That is true. I should have. I shouldn't have been so. What would you call it? So gender specific. Look, what's the route to become a commando? I'll let you know about that, Mr. Biddle. The route to go to commando, that's actually getting quite annoying sitting up there like that, is to simply go to infantry or direct entry. I do not recommend direct entry, and there is a reason for that, and that is you'll be competing with people that have either been on operational tours as section commanders, sergeants, 2ICs or soldiers who are more than qualified, understand how to get there, know the people are in two commandos, have an advantage over you because they know their body, they know themselves, they know their weapons, they know tactics, they have courses, some are snipers, qualifications, and there you are coming in just going, yeah, I've been to Kapooka. Then you'll feel like you're learning through a fire hose, as you're just got information dribbling out, even though their instructors are fantastic. But you have to go to infantry. So you go through Kapooka, then you go to infantry. No one gives a rat's dick if you are going to commandos until you pass the School of Infantry. You don't need to bring it up through Kapooka or through Singleton. At the end of Singleton, that's when Okay, they will come in and then they'll pick you up and then they'll take you and then you'll start your commando training. At any stage during that training or reinforcement cycle, you can be, no, did him out, see you later, off to infantry you go. Through that series, if you were injured, again, boom, not going to commandos anymore, you cut. The reason being is you were enlisting in the military for a date. As soon as you can't keep up with the schedule, the wave of anticipation of you getting to a goal, if you can't make it on the right time for that RV, then you're not going to be on that cycle. They're not going to wait for you. Kazal Hyundai has been retired officially. Holy shit. What do you got nowadays? I need a photo. Send one to me, please. Kaz, any advice on being a sniper? By the way, love the channel. Look, Nugget, I really don't have the time tonight to go into that. I'm sorry, mate, but let's just say it's like going to 2 commando, but you waited for the course period when you've got enough field time, when you understand how to hunt humans after being in a rifle company, etc. And then from there, when the course period comes up, you nominate and say, I want to go for snipers. Yeah, if 30 people go for the course, 20 people go for the course, even if you were the best, doesn't mean you're going to snipers. They pick people, who can work best with their organisation as well. And once you go to snipers or reconnaissance, then you may very well have an advantage when it comes to going to commandos or SASR, Special Air Service Regiment. But you still got to do all the hard work too. Top Secret was so much paperwork and a 4-hour interview with full-on questions, says Fighting the Turret with Swar, our armoured and tank guru. You actually won prizes for your and awards for your tank ability, didn't you? There, mate, Scotty Healy. Enemy pass reinforcement assault doesn't mean you get accepted. That's right, Brycey. You can still get cut, and they don't even have to tell you why. To me, that's criminal. You got to tell me why, at least. Adam Stanner, hey Kaz, long time no talk, my dude. How are you? I'm great, mate. I spoke to you about a year ago, and now I'm here as a digger. There you go. Adam, why'd you let Eve eat the apple, mate? What were you thinking? I hope life's going well for you. Be careful what you do and what you say when you hear Adam, because I don't know who's watching. And if we've got our real names in here, mate, we don't want anyone coming down to put some hurt on you, buddy. And I recommend that to anyone. The first thing you should do is change your name, especially if you're going to be going through the screening of joining the military. They might want to have a look through your social media history to see who you like, who you don't like, despite the fact that it shouldn't bloody mean anything to them. I went for DFSW, heavy weapons. Love me some fluffy automatic metal slingers until it's time to clean them, Toddy. And then you need a medic to give you some headache tablets to get you the hell out of the village. When you're cleaning a machine gun with 4 barrels and each one has fired more than 5,000 rounds through them, and the collars look like pieces of chewing tobacco, it's not good. Night, guys. The week is caught up on me. Have a good weekend. Well, let's call this a wrap. That's 1 hour and 20 minutes we're rolling up on here. Guys and gals, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for the members and those that threw shekels and coffee at me. This felt like it came out like a machine gun tonight, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you need more, if you need a part 3, let me know, and we'll do that. And I'll make sure that we have so much more on the stream pad that's just down here. Okay, now that I've worked out how to use the second page of it, and we'll get some sound effects thrown in as well. Happy birthday to JP. Aussie bloke, mate. I hope your leg is good. To the young fellas, of Nathan, who's currently at Kapuka. All the best, mate. Okay, and happy birthdays to those guys belated. And to Carl, to Lincoln. Okay, make sure that Lincoln and Justin, are good to go. And they get back out in that running track. Justin? Lincoln? Justin. Lincoln Park. Always remember Lincoln Park. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Kaz Night, guys. Rambo is a prick, making people believe M60 is a great weapon. No, it's shit. The M60 was crap, but it looked great in photos, didn't it? Fighting I won the best troop competition twice, best individual tank gunnery competition against all tank crews in the Australian Army. It did go quick, Carl. I love this stuff. Hope you have a great night, my dude. Stoddy, that sounds good. Cheers, mate. Do you want a few reaction videos coming up? Something light-hearted, something that makes it fun, something that really hits you from the left. I don't mean politics-wise. As I consider what's going to happen with the ASX, Dogecoin, should we do it? Bitcoin, as Elon Musk ruined it? Who knows? 4 years from now, won't make any difference. God's work, RA. Someone's got to look out for you guys. The patron saint of enlisted soldiers. Someone that lets you know the truth, or a variant of. 51% of the time, I think I'm right. How did I get so old? Brycey, it happens quick, mate. It happens quick. But you know what? There's a beautiful woman out there, from my standards that is, who hasn't met me yet, probably doesn't even speak English. But she's waiting for all of the planes to be able to hit the skies again. And then Kaz is going to be an army of two. Take it easy. And remember, we only get one life. And it owes you nothing. Take it easy. And I'll leave you on one thing. Right now, there is people that are training to seek out and close the enemy, to kill or catch him, to seize and hold ground, to repel attack by day or night, regardless of season, weather, or terrain, domestic and abroad. And every single one of them is a volunteer. And if I had a hat on, I'd take it off now. Take it easy, guys. In advance, you have 100 points. If you lose them, don't lose too many. See you later, guys. See you later. And Scotty Healy, let's do a Zoom call. Let's give these guys a video on how much armour and tanks suck compared to infantry, as we're starting to take up motorised and mechanised. Okay, if you want to see that, let us know. I'd be more than happy to do that with Scotty Healy. See you later. And may your nipples stay itchy and your hands feel like they're coated in Cheeto dust until you like the video, subscribe, and actually get in and swear the oath or affirmation. See you later. God loves you.